All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle one of the biggest challenges in cloud management today. How in the world do you enforce your rules when you've got hundreds of accounts and literally thousands of resources? Well, the answer is this really powerful idea called policy as code. We're going to show you how it can take your complicated, messy rulebook and turn it into something that's automated, elegant, and just works. I mean, think about this for a second. This is the real question, isn't it? For any company that's growing, you have this massive cloud footprint and a rule book that's probably even bigger. How can you possibly, realistically, enforce every single one of those rules on every deployment, every single day? Let's be honest, trying to do that by hand, it's not just hard, it's completely impossible. And yeah, this is exactly where those manual headaches start to creep in. Trying to govern a cloud environment is a lot like planning a city. If you don't have automated rules, you don't get a nice, well-organized city. What you get is chaos. And that means inconsistent security, huge compliance gaps, and you're just living in a constant state of risk. And when you put the two approaches side by side, the difference is, well, it's night and day. The manual way is painfully slow because it all depends on people doing reviews. It's wildly inconsistent because different people interpret the rules in different ways. And worst of all, it is so error-prone. All it takes is one small mistake from a tired engineer on a Friday afternoon, and boom, you've got a major security hole.
So, how do we get out of this manual trap? Well, it takes a pretty fundamental shift in how we think. We have to stop seeing our policies as these dusty old documents sitting on a shelf somewhere. We need to start treating them like what they really should be, code.
So policy as code, or PAC for short, is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You're writing your security rules, your compliance standards in an actual programming language. If you're already using infrastructure as code to define your cloud resources, and you probably are, then just think of PAC as the automated rulebook that keeps all of that in check. You can manage it, you can version it, you can test it, all with the same rigor you'd apply to your main application code. Okay, so that's the big idea, but how does this actually work in the real world? In the AWS ecosystem, there's a fantastic toolkit for building out these automated guardrails. So let's take a quick look at the key pieces of the puzzle. This table really helps break down the different layers of your defense. At the very top, you have service control policies, or SCPs. These are the big, high-level guardrails for your entire account. They define what's even possible to do. Then you have IAM policies, which get more granular. They manage permissions for specific users and roles within those boundaries. And finally, you've got AWS config rules. Think of these as your tireless auditor, constantly checking your resources for compliance long after they've been deployed. And hey, this idea is way bigger than just AWS. The ecosystem out there is huge. You've got powerful open source tools like Open Policy Agent, you'll hear it called OPA, and even AWS's own CloudFormation Guard. These tools let you write and enforce policies across different clouds and a ton of different tools, so you can build a truly unified strategy for governance. Okay, let's look at a real-world scenario so we can see how all these pieces come together. This is where policy as code stops being just an abstract idea and turns into an active, automated gatekeeper that protects your entire environment. So check this out. A developer commits some code to create a new S3 bucket, but they made a critical mistake. It's set to be public and it's unencrypted. Yikes. The deployment pipeline kicks off, and the first thing it does is run that automated policy check. The check immediately spots the violation, and, this is the most important part, it just screams fail. The deployment is blocked right then and there. That insecure bucket, it never even gets created. It never saw the light of day.
And that right there is what makes PASIC a true guardian. It's not some passive checklist that a person might miss or just ignore. No, it's an automated, tireless agent that's built right into your workflow, and it prevents mistakes before they can ever become security incidents.
So when you see that in action, the core benefits become super clear, right? Adopting policy as code is so much more than just a new techie thing to do. It fundamentally changes how you operate. It lets you automate your rules, really secure your infrastructure, and scale everything you do safely. Let's break down the 3 biggest wins here. First up, you get consistency. The exact same rule is applied the exact same way everywhere, every single time. No more exceptions. Second, you get version control. All your policies live in Git. You have a full audit history. You know who changed what, when they changed it, and why. And third, you get those automated checks, that gatekeeper we just saw, giving you immediate feedback and stopping bad configurations from ever hitting production. So what does this look like day to day? Here's the blueprint. Step 1, you write your infrastructure as code, just like always. But then, and this is key, before it ever gets applied, you run your automated policy checks against it. If it passes, then it goes to a human for a quick review and approval, and only then are the changes actually deployed. It's a simple, elegant, and incredibly secure workflow.
So, we've seen how policy as code can literally take you from manual chaos to automated control. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. In your own environment, right now, what's the one single rule that you could automate first to make everything safer and more reliable?